The other place that has a lot of regulatory clarity is El Salvador. Obviously, it's been made a legal tender. And Cory, you've been doing a lot of work at Zante Capital, and as well as making some other plans for El Salvador. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I finally got down there. When did I go? I guess the end of February. Went down for a couple of days, did some meetings and hung out. Did not get to El Zonte, but I spent some time in San Salvador, the capital. Very impressive. The energy down there, the vibe is great. The anecdotes that you get from people are fascinating and very uplifting. My favorite was the guy that was kind of like my handler that, arranged cars and kind of hung out in case I needed anything while I was there. It was probably 27 or 28-year-old guy. And, he was he had been following us for a while, and he wanted to talk basketball because he knew from Twitter that I was into basketball. And he wanted to tell me that, in the previous 6 months, for the first time in a decade, he'd been able to play basketball. Because since he graduated high school, he no longer had access to the safe school gym, and you couldn't play outdoor in the parks in El Salvador because of gangs and crime. So he and his friends just hadn't played basketball for 10 years, and it dawned on them last summer that they could go outside and play basketball again. So he was just kind of elated. And I think that's something that, the analogy was interesting, because a lot of times we're like, well, the money doesn't need fixing. It works well enough. But in other places around the world, the money is totally horribly broken. And, we don't really think about the freedom to be able to go outside and shoot some hoops in most places around the USA, because it's no problem to go do that if you want to. And then there are places around the world where you don't even have that level of freedom, and how amazing it is when that changes for you. So I thought that was really touching and moving. Definitely inspired me to, want to talk to our team and formulate some plans. So we're opening up Swan House El Salvador right in El Zonte, October 11th through November 21st. So 6 weeks we'll be down there. And yeah, there'll be Swan staying there. It's an 8-bedroom house. We're also putting up a lot of Bitcoiner friends and guests, and we'll be throwing events, kind of throughout the 6 weeks that we're down there. Adopting Bitcoin, I want to say, is November 7th through the 9th. So if you're wanting to come to El Zonte before or after, I already know a lot of events planned around, what's the villas? Garten, I think. Where Max and Stacy usually stay. I think there's some events already planned for the few days before adopting Bitcoin. So we'll be around those and hosting people, and I'm sure we'll convert one of the 8 bedrooms into a podcasting studio, as we usually, we tend to do that sort of thing. So that'll probably be available to podcasters that want to come hang out. And if you want to record there, that should be easy. And then, we have, El Zonte Capital. Yeah. Sam, you obviously got to go down there, and Dom will take you surfing to his spot since he went down there recently.
Dom, you got to do that.
For sure. And then El Zonte Capital is an AngelList fund, which we set up as a crowdfunding vehicle, so I can actually talk about it and advertise it, and we can actually take non-accredited investors into it as well. So that's pretty cool. So elzontecapital.com if you're interested in contributing. I would say when we started it, not quite a year and a half ago, but probably it was March or something of last year. It was still a little bit early because there weren't a lot of startups there yet. Now there are. The entrepreneurial enthusiasm and activity in El Salvador has exploded. A lot of companies are opening offices there. A lot of companies are choosing to domicile there. And then there are a lot of, really, really intelligent, experienced, and entrepreneurial Salvadorans that have decided to start companies. So there's, hardware and software companies that are doing Bitcoin stuff now. There's, frankly, the slickest looking Bitcoin ATM that I've seen. I've got their deck on my desk right now, looking at making an investment there in K1. Don't tell them because, haven't negotiated the deal yet, but I guess this will get out. Anyway, it looks pretty cool. Where we want them. So you guys can front run the heck out of me there if you're good enough to look them up. But
I just can't wait till you're on the meeting where you're like, I got some concerns with the appearance of the thing, and you're like, no, we heard otherwise.
Yeah, but I want to say so the Coding Academy has their first class coming out. So they've taken 21 high potential students and put them through, Bitcoin boot camp. Basically, I think Adam Back is like taking them to Switzerland for like a bunch of expert lightning workshops and stuff like this. I mean, it's nuts, the stuff that's going on. They're hoping to have the next class be 50 people. So now there's like local labor. So it's really spawning this ecosystem of excitement and activity. And, you know, there's not that many ways to invest in the El Salvador story. You know, you buy land, I guess. So that's certainly something that you could do. But I think also just investing in this ecosystem that's bubbling up. You know, Strike is opening an office down there. Fold is opening an office down there. We're looking at it too. We might open up an office down there. You know, so yeah, very, very bullish on El Salvador and excited for this fall.
Yeah, my trip down there, Sam, if I just touch on it real quick.
Yeah.
Very similar, life-changing trip for me. I went with 2 firefighters, and we went with the commitment of only using Bitcoin. We were like, hey, if we can't use it, we're going to move on. We talked to everyone that we interacted with, and asked like, why not, why yes, what do you think of Bukele, everything, you know. Learned so much about just real adoption at the ground level. Was an amazing experience. Everyone had tremendous support for Bukele there. And you left with that feeling of like, I want a piece of this, what they have going on. And so, you know, to what Cory's doing with Zante Capital, like when you go there and visit, Sam, have you been before?
I haven't been there yet.
When you go, you're going to leave and go, I need to somehow like get involved, whether it's get a spot here or invest. So I think that there's going to be a lot of success with that. And it's just really interesting, that whole experience down there. Adopting Bitcoin is going to be awesome. I'm actually going to try to give a presentation there, and so I'm slated to do that. So I can't wait to go down. And Sam, we're going to get you surfing, dude, because that place is awesome.